Hey, you guys, welcome to Regardless. I am so excited to have you here. Regardless is the go-to hub for tips and tools to keep you going, babe, reminding you that you've got this.
For you.
Preparation and integration courses, we hold the insights.
We're talking about surrendering. Surrender. In a world where we want to constantly have like control and take charge and all those things, surrender. It's tricky. Okay. Just me? Okay.
Speaking of social, thank you. Oh my God, this is awesome. So great.
Sharone Hakman, welcome to Regardless. Sharone is the founder of Hacks. He's also the founder of Sunny Within and Chef Sharone. Obviously, you were doing multiple things. Tell me a little bit more about these three businesses and what led you to literally being the man that's sitting in this chair in front of me today.
Originally a finance guy.
Okay.
Similar story, similar path, right? You were in finance too?
No, I was in corporate.
You were in corporate.
I
that's
was in
right.
sales.
Sales. Okay.
Yes.
I was in sales as well, financial planning, that kind of world. I was a stockbroker by the time I was 19 years old. And then, I'm like a Jewish kid from LA. So like,
Yeah.
you get the pressure of being either like a doctor, a lawyer, or you go into finance or something like that. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I loved the idea of creating, but I was that kid in school that I never knew what I wanted to do. Like I had friends that really had clarity around like, I want to do this. I have no idea. I knew I wanted to
I mean, how the fuck are you supposed to know what you want to do at such a young age? I mean,
Some
even
people
in college.
do. Some people do. Some people do, and it's you know what? Good for them. That's amazing. I had a friend who was like a dancer, who is like an incredible dancer since he was a child, and became a professional dancer and toured. By the time he was 25, like reached the pinnacle of his career. Right? Like he just had clarity around that. I didn't. I knew I wanted to make money, but I didn't know what I was like. What drove me, what got me excited. Long story short, I left finance, and then I decided to get into food. My grandmother, who's a big part of my life, she passed, but she practically raised me. It was always she was that Jewish grandma who was always cooking in the kitchen from sunrise to sunset. And I didn't realize how important and how influential food has been in my life. And I was actually really good at it.
Really? Did you grow up like cooking?
I grew up cooking.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that I'm like, whoa, I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
It just makes sense where people look at food and they're like, oh, I don't know how to do that. To me, I'm like, what do you mean? I don't know when something's cooked properly or what to do. It just makes sense.
Makes sense to you.
And the best way I can kind of like give an example is like you look at an artist and they were able to draw these beautiful like portraits or whatnot. And you look at it and I look at them like, fuck, you're so talented. I could never do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel like with food. Like I can look at ingredients and make something awesome happen.
Crazy.
And so like fast forward, sort of, again, without boring you to death, but I got into food. I was on the first season of MasterChef.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
I left finance.
Okay.
And yeah, like literally 4 days after my kid was born. Yeah, it was nuts. It was all like weird. When I look at it now, I'm like, what the fuck were you doing? Yeah,
Okay,
it's nuts.
insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. But I did. And a friend of mine who's a producer told me about MasterChef, and she was like, well, give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I'm from LA. Last thing I wanted to do is television or get involved in that world because I was just so jaded to it. You hear everyone wants to be in television and an actor and et cetera. But I was like, all right, fuck it. What do I have to lose? So I did. I walked away from that show realizing like, whoa, okay, I love this. I love food. I like, this is my happy place. I'm going to figure something out. So I started doing everything and anything that I possibly could in the food world. So I went from a VP in finance to like starting a catering business to doing whatever television appearances I could do to starting my organic food company and then started the sauces.
Which is Hacks.
Chef Hacks, yeah. And started with that, going door to door selling that. It was a journey, and it still is, but it was like when I look at them like, there was a quote that my grandmother gave me that as I get older and older, I realize how powerful that is. And she was a Holocaust survivor. Both my grandparents were.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she would look at me with her little smile and like give me like the most comforting look and said, as I was like figuring this stuff out, even before, throughout my life, she said, there's no shame in trying to do anything. And so I realized that more and more as I get older, like the ego, like, oh, I won't take that job. That's beneath me, or this or that. And that was just always on rinse and repeat, as I was kind of finding my way forward. Because even as you look at where you are now,
Yeah.
there's no like, oh, I just stumbled into this.
No.
There's a step, there's another, there's a fall, there's a pivot. And then you're just constantly building and building and evolving, right, to get to where you are. And the idea of never having shame in doing that, never letting your ego be like, oh, this is beneath me, or this is not worth my time, or so, but being able to do that in sort of like this open, happy, productive kind of energy around there. Like,
Sharone, that's really powerful. And I think especially speaking as a 27-year-old woman, like I deeply feel this. And right now I'm in an era where I was telling you this before our recording together.
yeah,
I was like climbing the corporate ladder in a very juicy, stable sales job. And I was one of the few women there, which I learned so much. And I'm so blessed for that experience. And at the same time, like being in a stable job, I've never been so unhappy before. And now being where I am now, getting to build and create the empire that I want to build and I'm jazzed about, and it's an impact, like, and it's not really stable yet.
of course.
I do find moments right now where I'm like, oh my God, like I can feel my ego hurting because I'm where I'm at, being 27, I'm not where I thought I was going to be.
Yeah.
At this age.
Yeah.
So, and I think this must be very relevant for you being a man.
Yeah.
What was that like for you, if you could like go back to your younger self in that moment of like, maybe did you feel like you felt your ego coming up and being like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I can't imagine it's probably a lot louder being a male.
Great question. And I will say, I don't know if it's louder being a male or a female. I don't know, I can't give you that, but I could tell you that fuck the ego, because it'll never change. Whether you're 27, whether you're 32, whether you're 40, that negative self-talk, if it's there, it will always be there. So no matter what stage in the game you are, that critic, that ego that's telling you, oh, you're better than this, or you're different than this, or this isn't that, or whatever it is that's yapping in your ear, like it really doesn't matter how old you are. If you have that negative talk in your head, right, it will always be there. No matter what stage in the game you are, no matter how successally, no matter where you go, regardless. Truly, great pun, great entry. Because regardless of where you are in your life, if you have that negative talk, if it's there, you're not going to enjoy any of it.
No,
and that's. I'm not sitting here telling you I've mastered it. I'm not sitting here telling you by any means I'm a guru and I've like sitting here and
you're
I'm
like
floating.
chilling.
Yeah, like listen, life comes at you and it's wild and there's a lot of things and there's ebbs and flows. But what I will say is the less pressure you put around, like, okay, you're running a marathon, right? We're all running a marathon, whatever that marathon is, whether it's our personal health, our careers, our family, anything that's worthwhile is hard. Right? It really is. It's hard. Okay. But if you can find a way to smile through it all, like, I'm not saying that that's the secret, but I think it's pretty damn close to it.
Yeah.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
And there's going to be sucky, shitty things that happen. But if you can find a way to smile as you're on that run or you're lifting that heavy weight and enjoy that, like that to me is kind of like where, okay.
That's like kind of where you want to live and exist.
Yeah.
And I'm a very impatient person. And especially being an entrepreneur or even just like a woman who, even when it comes to relationships, who wants something and is like sick of the dating apps, like it's very easy to be impatient in today's world because we get everything so quickly the moment that we want it and we need it. So I think when it comes to like your dreams or a relationship, like how have you, Sharone, found the juiciness in creating and building something that you so deeply want, but like also like life happens, shit is inevitable. Like how do you find, I guess, sunny within regardless of the shit?
Yeah. So I will say that I could relate in being impatient.
Okay.
And
It's really
a mantra of mine that I and something that I'm known to be, I am the most patiently impatient person you will probably ever meet.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? By nature, I'm impatient as fuck.
Okay.
I want to go.
Yeah.
My action center is action.
Like same.
Let's get it done. I don't need to sit here and like figure this out longer. Like I've got an instinctual gut feeling. There's nothing that brings me more joy to checking something off of a box and saying I fucking did it.
Same. Okay? What is it like a tap? Like it feels. So it's like, oh my god! It feels like a drink.
Oh, it's the best.
It's the best. Yeah.
Hit me more.
Yeah, literally.
Done. What's next? Done. However, I'm also clearly aware that there's so little that I actually control. And 95% of what happens to me is out of my control. Mm-hmm. But 100% of what is in my control is how I want to respond to it. And so I come from this action center. And again, when I was 25, 26, starting my company, I remember I almost put myself in the hospital 3 times. To be truly candid and honest.
Why?
I was having panic attacks.
Fuck.
I thought I was having a fucking heart attack. Because I didn't learn how to understand that I can take this action center, but I can also smile through it. I can enjoy it versus letting it be difficult and creating all this extra noise and stress that does me no service. It does me no good. It doesn't do shit. And so the answer to your question is you can easily have that same action center. That's who you are. It's embedded in you. Some people aren't, right? How many people do you meet are just like, okay, sera.
Totally.
Like I'm good, right?
Yeah.
But they're not really the entrepreneurs. They're not go-getters. And that's okay. That's what makes this world special. Like we're all so different. But I think some of the entrepreneurs and people and role models in my life that I've really looked at and I've admired are those that can do that with just a sense of joy around it all. And it's very easy to take it a lot more seriously than we need to and get like wound up and angry and stressed out about it. Why isn't this happening fast enough? You know, I'm dealing with it right now. Like I've got some amazing projects in line with my company and some dope innovation that I've been working hard on for the past year. Yeah. And I'm waiting for it to click. And I was expecting to click, I would say 2 months ago.
Okay.
And it's not, right? And just like you saw your response, like that.
I feel that.
I feel it too. And it's sort of like, okay, but I can't do anything about it. I got to smile. I'll stay consistent and I'm going to still do the things that I do to be impatient and make it happen. But I'm going to do it in a different tone. I'm going to put a different energy around it. I'm going to make it joyous. I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to understand like this is still part of it. Shit does not happen the way I want it to happen. So just fucking surrender to it, you know?
Beautiful. And I like when you were sharing your story about you being in the hospital 3 times.
Yeah.
I feel like when we're young and we're in our 20s, it's a lot easier said than done to want to be at a certain point in life where you're like, what was I thinking? And I think also it's like you have to have these experiences of like, what was I thinking in order to learn from it 100%. Even like this week, this is so crazy we're having this conversation because I feel like I'm exactly where your younger self was at. Literally burned myself, 3rd-degree burn in the kitchen. And I'm like, no, it didn't hurt because I'm crazy right now. And I was like in urgent care yesterday and they're like, we need to put you on antibiotics. Like if you don't, then it could like spread and we have to chop off your finger. Like it wasn't a panic attack, but like still because I'm not slowing down and I'm allowing this action center to overtake my entire body and my health. And it's almost like burnout. But I think it's true. It's regardless of what's happening around us, it's on us on how we want to show up, how we want to respond, and like who is it that I want to be on the other side of this challenge or adversity or business. Like I'm here to live.
Right.
And if I'm killing myself for this business that I so love and I'm passionate about, then why am I on planet Earth? Why am I doing this?
Totally. And there's this, oh God, first of all, I'm sorry. I hope you're
It's
okay.
okay. Yeah, she's not cute, but like she's healing.
Okay. I so understand you.
Yeah.
And I have so much empathy because I get it. And I don't know. I didn't really have a mentor growing up. I wish I did in some ways. Being like a tall dude, everyone's like, oh, you're fine. That was something that drove me nuts. Everyone's like, yeah, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. And I'm like, I'm not fine. And be like, no, you're going to succeed. You're going to be fine. I'm like, but I'm not fine. I'm not well. Like I don't have the tools. Like I don't, and I didn't. And I'm still working on developing these tools and growing, but I would tell you that there is a corresponding principle. It's a universal principle. I love it's the principle of duality. To hot, there's cold. To above, there's below. To black, there's white. To light, there's dark, right? Etc. And so to push, there's pull, right? And if you think about this principle and how you apply it, so the stronger and the harder you push, right, into wanting to be successful, right, the less you are present in enjoying all of it. The more focused you are on hitting the finish line, right? Like you're not looking around and smelling the roses because you're trying to fucking win the race, right? And you're not enjoying any of the scenery. Like think about it. When you're late to a meeting, are you like looking at billboards? Are you rolling down your windows? You're like, I just got like move, get the fuck out the way. Like I got to get there, pull a plug, right? You're not enjoying any of it because you're just trying to get there. I will say, my opinion, I'm no master. Everyone has their own opinion, that there is no fucking finish line. You will accomplish this, Skylar, and then there'll be something next.
Yeah.
And then there'll be something next. And then there'll be something after that, because that's just how you're wired.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it goes. So if you accept, as I did, I accept like once I hit this milestone, there'll be another milestone. But what can I do? If I know that that's inevitable, I could choose to enjoy this ride and chill the fuck out a little bit around it and like not put all that extra stress and understand that I will hit these milestones, right? But I'm also going to smell the roses. I'm also going to enjoy the ride. And that's a really tricky thing to do. And I'm not saying it's like, aha, like I took a pill or I saw the light. I figured it out. It's a muscle. It's literally a muscle that you exercise and it gets stronger and stronger and you just kind of like breathe. Meditation has been huge for me. I meditate daily.
Okay.
It's been huge in helping me slow shit down.
So yeah, I was going to ask you like, what are the specific steps that you take on a daily basis to enjoy?
Yeah, I'm with you. One thing, first and foremost, meditation.
Okay.
I will tell you, it is one of the best gifts that you can give to yourself. It is one of the most powerful tools that you can learn to adopt, and it's free.
Yeah.
It's free.
True.
And if you think about, I don't have time, I challenge anybody listening to this to look at your phone, see what your average screen time is, and ask yourself if you can cut 20 to 30 minutes off of that and give it to yourself. And I would say 95% of the time you can probably say yes.
Are you a morning or evening meditator?
I am morning,
okay,
and I'll throw in some in the evening.
Wow.
I am so sold on meditation.
Yeah.
I actually just last week made a deal with my 12-year-old kid.
Good.
Yeah. And so he's also, I watch him, like he reminds me of me a lot, and he gets very triggered, very impatient.
Okay.
He's like also a doer, and I'm talking about like, hey man, you can't control any of this. You can control yourself. And I wish I had meditation in my life at a younger age.
Yep.
I was never on my like, I mean, this literally came into my life just a couple years ago, right?
Wow.
And I made a deal with him. I said, listen, dude, if you commit to meditating with me daily for the next 60 days, I'll give you a brand new iPhone.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do the
bribery.
same thing. Rinse
I
and
bribed
repeat.
him.
Love it.
I bribed him, like full on. He's like, He's like, really?
Biggest gift to him. He'll thank you later. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're a weekend.
My God.
Yeah. And we do a meditation twice a day.
Twice. That's
Twice a day. We do a 5-minute in the morning before school.
okay. Easy.
And then like 15 minutes like before bed.
Okay.
And yeah, like he does a guided one, and there's no right or wrong meditation. So it's like people ask like, oh, what's, sometimes I do just breath work because that's what's working for me. So I'll do 30 breaths just in, out, and just focus on literally every particle of air going in and experiencing the breath. Sometimes it'll be just Om chanting.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll be just sitting in still in silence. Like there's no magic, sometimes one works better than the other.
Totally.
There's no right or wrong way, but being consistent with that has probably been one of the most impactful tools in helping me cope with stress and enjoy this ride.
Yeah. And this is something that I know I need. There's a block and I need to freaking remove that block. Fuck. I'm like addicted to momentum.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh my God. And why do I think that I don't have enough time to meditate when I'm literally, if we look at actually numbers and how much you're making versus me, like I have no right to say that I don't have time. But what is that? Why do we make it so impossible for us to make that time when in reality, I know that it will allow me to actually speed up?
It is so cool hearing you say this because fuck, like I so admire you. I admire your perseverance. Like it is so commendable to have the drive that you have, and it's in you. And you're right. It is like an addiction because you have such a desire to do. And isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
However, like I said, there is this law of duality, right? And so if you're always running at 7,000 RPMs, if you're driving a car in Ferrari, no matter how fast that fucking car is, if your RPMs are redlining all the time, it's going to break down.
Yeah.
Because you just can't. You just can't. And so it really is, how do you find your tune-ups and giving yourself that space? And I'm telling you, it's not like, I get it. It's like a drug. It's something that you're addicted to, and it's so satisfying. However, find the balance. There's a yin and a yang. And I will tell you that the more you put energy towards this area, naturally, this area will continue to grow because you'll put so much less pressure on yourself.
Yes.
Because it's like, we all do it. We put so much fucking pressure on ourselves.
It's self-imposed.
It's so unnecessary.
And there's so much shit happening in our world. Like the last thing we need is to kill ourselves like internally. It doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. And it's not sustainable.
I know. There was somebody shared this thing with me that really resonated, and I'll share it with you. I don't know if it does. Great. If it doesn't, but it was all that pressure that we put on ourselves. Why we do, I don't know. But what was helpful for me is when they phrased it, and the individual was like, treat that as a roommate. Have you ever had like an annoying? I had one in college.
Had way too many.
Okay. So like they never washed the dishes. They were so fun. And I like to keep things clean. Like everything was messy, like laundry all over the place. It was fucking torture. It was tough.
Yeah.
But when I couldn't handle it anymore, right? I closed the door and I was like, fuck, I'm in my room and it's quiet, right? Like, and that was sort of the principle in applying it to all this kind of extra pressure. Like treat it as this annoying roommate. Like it's always going to be there, yapping, telling you you're not good enough, or adding more weight onto everything. You just shut the door.
Ooh.
Shut the door. I don't need you right now.
Yep.
Right? Because that person is always there. That roommate is always there.
It's almost like, this is another quote very similar to the roommate, but like our feelings or emotions are just guests, right? And it's kind of interesting because I think it's almost the opposite in a way, because in this quote, it's like allow them in and like see them, but we don't have to like give them power. I think it's just like to acknowledge it and be like, okay, I'm either going to subscribe or not subscribe to it. But I do agree. I think it's challenging, but at the same time, I think it's very liberating and freeing to know that we have a choice over all of this.
We do.
No one is like forcing us to suffer.
Yeah.
Like that is on us.
Yeah.
And I love what you said. I need to read this quote because it
Yeah.
really resonated with me. And of course, I'm freaking forgetting it. Okay, but Sharone and I hopped on an intro call.
Yeah.
And he shared this quote with me. And it literally made my entire week. So I really want to share it with everyone
Please.
listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't take credit for it. It's not my
No,
quote,
but it's not your quote, but
Right.
you did share it with me.
Yes.
And it has to do exactly with this conversation.
Yes.
And I think it will be supportive.
Sure.
Okay. You can take everything away from a person except one thing, their ability to choose how they respond. And especially looking at your grandparents being Holocaust survivors, I'm sure that is generationally instilled in you.
Yeah.
Has that been a massive part, I guess, in the trajectory of your personal development journey? And also, I mean, even being your younger self in the hospital to like waking up, like how has that been, I guess, at the forefront of your experience?
Totally. So that quote is from a very, very famous
Yes, who is it from?
Viktor Frankl.
Okay.
And he was also a Holocaust survivor. And he wrote this book, which is probably one of my top 5 favorite books, called Man's Search for Meaning. And he was a psychologist, psychiatrist, professor, etc. And he survived the Holocaust. And he wrote this book with basically this incredible merging of a story of his experience through the Holocaust and applied to psychology, to our brains and how we process. And he, of course, the things that he's seen, one would never, ever in their lives want to ever experience. And he applied that to, how were survivors and how were people in concentration camps able to stay positive, even through starvation, abuse, murder, the gas
literally
chambers.
regardless.
Right.
It's insane.
And and it was that quote, is that his study was, you can have a gun pointed at your head and you can still choose how you want to respond to that experience. You can cry in fear or you can smile. No one will take that away from you. They can take everything else away. Take the clothes off my back, right? Cut my legs off, whatever, starve me, all those things. But they cannot change my attitude, right? And when you think about it, that intense and deep of a level relative to what we're dealing with and what we're challenged with, like we have some serious first world problems, right? Like serious. Like how am I going to, right? Like this or that. We're not worried about how we're going to eat today. We're not worried about where we're going to sleep, whether we're going to be warm, whether we're going to, all the really critical things that we need to worry about, we don't really worry about.
No.
So instead, we're occupying our space and energy with, when you think about it, like, we're better off than 99% of this world.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Except our fear in that moment feels like we're in survival mode, which is the crazy part. It's like perspective. It's insane.
Because we're wired that way. We are wired sort of like to survive.
Yeah.
But our element of what we had to work to survive for, like what we used to have to survive for, is no longer on the table.
No.
We have a car, we drive, we got Uber Eats, like we've got cold plunges next door. Like,
like
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to kind of keep that in perspective. And then again, it's another way to just kind of laugh it off and say, well, okay, I'm really stressing out about this. Maybe I shouldn't.
Perspective check.
Perspective.
Yeah. Question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
Sunny Within.
Yeah.
I guess the mission and the meaning of the word, was that, I guess your experience, was that the catalyst for why you created it? Like if you could story tell a little bit about how that evolved into what it is today.
For sure. With both my companies, I started Chef Hacks a little over a decade ago and Sunny Within just last year.
Yeah.
And
amazing products, by the way. Both. Obsessed with both.
Thank you. And what I've really enjoyed, like, look, at building any business is difficult. It's hard.
Yeah.
You're going to get kicked in the nuts a lot.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's just business.
Yeah.
But what helps me wake up every day with this like new refreshed level of excitement is I love what I do. I love what I do. And so I highly encourage anyone who is even on the fence of thinking of whether they should go try doing something that they love versus, you know, security and something.
Yeah.
I'll say to you, like, you're here one time. As far as we know. I don't know. You know, we're here one time. Like, fucking do it, you know? Like, this was great. Also, somebody said, the only two people you ever have to answer to is your 80-year-old version of yourself and your 5-year-old version of yourself. Right? And look at them and ask them like, all right, are you happy with me? You know? So I would say, look at your 5-year-old self and 80-year-old self and ask yourself like, is this what you want? Because that's who you have to answer to. So I encourage anyone who's on the fence or thinking about doing something that they're truly passionate about, do it. I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard, like I said, and you just get used to getting kicked in the nuts and learning to smile. It still hurts.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just get better at realizing, okay, you know, it's just part of the journey.
It's like resilience is a muscle, and it's just getting like doing it again and again, just like confidence is like the more that you put yourself into the fire, you start to build this armor.
Yep. Exactly right. And so in doing both those, I love creating products, and I love creating products that are better for people, that are good for people. So with Chef Hacks, like we make ready to eat organic foods that I'm super proud of. Like right now we have an item out. It's our roasted carrots. I get to work with
I'm
farmers.
obsessed with the Dijon mustard.
Yeah, with the maple Dijon glaze. Yeah.
And then with the chicken meatballs and the
organic
Brussels sprouts. I'm having that tonight. Just saying. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm literally having it tonight.
Amazing.
So good.
And so I get to work directly with farmers and truly bring farm to table food that you can buy at places like Costco. And it makes me so happy. I can't even tell you. Like, it brings me so much joy when people send me an email.
I can feel it. And like, people want that. People need that.
Totally. And then same thing with Sunny Within. I co-founded Sunny Within with my brother. It's my best friend, right on the beach, down the street from right at the, we would always get together. We both had homes in the Palisades. And we'd get together whenever we had a break, be like, hey, you got a quick minute? Let's get a 30-minute beach session. And we'd sit there and we'd just catch up on life and stuff. And we would always take, you know, we're just into health and wellness. Yeah. And so there's a lot of supplements that we would take. And we're like, there's got to be a better, funner, like more enjoyable way of taking your vitamins. And we're always by the water, always sunny within. And that's how it was born.
That is so epic.
Yeah.
And so share a little bit more about Sunny Within, just so my audience knows.
Sure.
Supplements, how do we digest them?
Yes. So the quick pitch and why we're so stoked about Sunny Within, and we think it's like just an incredible product, is it is a liposomal squeezy pack. So liposomal means all those vitamins are encapsulated in a fat, and we use organic avocado oil, which is just the best oil that you can be getting. So it's good fats. And it's 5 times more bioavailable into your body. What does that mean? So if I take a pill, let's say I take a capsule of vitamin C, by the time your body's done digesting it, all right, it would have already broke down, because it's breaking it all down. It would have already broke down 75% of that. So you're only really retaining about 25% of the vitamins that you're taking by the time it's through your digestive system.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And you can look this up.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, and liposomal technology has been around for quite a while. It's been around for 20 plus years. It's used in cancer treatment.
Wow. Okay.
So it's 5 times more bioavailable. Your body absorbs it significantly better than it would if it was a capsule. And we basically have these amazing blends, like our cognitive blend has like magnesium L-threonate, alpha GPC.
And they're so yummy.
Yeah, and they're delicious. So you're basically taking like 10 to 14 different capsules in a delicious squeezy pack, and it's 5 times more absorbent. And it's all organic.
Anyone thought of this before?
It's around. There's some brands that are out there.
Yeah.
But we're doing it with truly the best ingredients. I did the flavors. We're not using any natural flavors. They're actually extracts. Yeah. And it's a stack. Yeah. So it's got like 5 to 7 different like powerful ingredients in each one of them. So that's the kind of like, that's the story.
So epic. And I love that you're tapping into different businesses, and it goes to show that like really you can do anything that you want to if you get out of your own way.
For sure.
And you enjoy the process. Okay, I have a fill in the blank for you.
Ask me.
Regardless of blank, I am blank.
It's beautiful. Regardless of what I think I am, I'm just me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No,
If
no.
does.
It
The element
makes
of
sense to me.
not putting pressure on myself, all the extra things that I put in noise, what I think I am, just me. And I'm okay.
Yeah, and I think it also it's even being hustlers and driven and going after what we want in our career, like when we strip all that away, like how can we just really love who we are? Like regardless of all of that. Because we don't have to be doing all of that and we would still be enough. And that's something that I think we have to remind ourselves of on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And then I think once we get down to that level, then I think we can actually enjoy
Totally.
the external things and what we're creating and building because we've got us regardless. Yeah. Sharone, this conversation was literally medicine to me. And I know that it's taken us a while to sit down, but I really believe in divine timing. And I feel so connected to the juice that went down today because I'm like in it being burnt out and like I needed this.
Yeah.
So it felt like a therapy session.
I'm glad, and I'm so happy to be on this. And I love your energy. I love the smile that you bring. I love how you fill a room. And I will tell you that, just stay you. You're great, and it makes me happy to see you just doing what you're doing. Keep at it. And remember to just also like love yourself throughout, right? Like I'm not trying to be a therapist, but I get it because fuck, like when I think about the things that I went through and the pressure that we put on ourselves, it's a lot. And then you just kind of sit there and you ask yourself like, wait, why?
Yeah, if you could go back to your 27-year-old self, what would you tell him?
I would tell him it's all good.
Okay.
It's the same. But what's so funny is, remember I was complaining earlier of people like, you're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine.
Yes.
I was just like, you're going to be fine. But like, don't put all this extra, and you think that you sort of need to, because that's what helps you get there. Right. But I'm telling you that it's just not healthy. You're going to get there. You just got to find a different language to speak to yourself in, because you are who you are. You're not capable of saying, I don't get off on the check marks.
Yep.
You get off on the fucking check
right?
marks. You get off on getting it done, right? But then why do I have to be yelling at myself in my ear, being like, fucking keep going, like, blah, It's just like, all right, good. I'll just keep going. But I'll do so, and I'm going to manifest all this positivity and happiness versus all this extra, self-talk and stress and extra pressure that I'm putting on myself.
Yeah. It's
right?
like the pressure, the shit is going to be there regardless. And like in that, it's up to you and how you want to live in the moment and how you're going to freaking live your life.
Yep.
Because it's made out of every single second.
Correct.
Even in the shit.
Correct.
I love it.
Correct.
Dude.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Thanks. I had such a good time. Thanks.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Okay.
I enjoyed the talk.
I really needed, like, deeply needed this. Like, Andy knows. Hey, you guys. Welcome to Regardless. I am so excited to have you here. Regardless is the go-to hub for tips and tools to keep you going, babe. Reminding you that you've got this.